Hi there, welcome to the first Team Clueless Battle Report using 6th edition. Here it is, the big new rulebook, and it is quite large. You could club things to death with it. We are playing our first game today, so some things we may get wrong. I've read the rulebook once, Paul hasn't read the rulebook yet, so you'll have to bear with us. We are playing the new missions. We have rolled up the Emperor's Will. It involves 2 mission objectives, which are, mine is over here, hiding in this building, and over here is Paul's, hiding in this bit of area terrain, just down there. Each of those are worth 3 victory points at the end of the game. There are 3 secondary objectives where you can score extra single victory points. You have to kill the opposing warlord, i.e. the main general of the army. You have to have a unit in their deployment zone at the end of the game. It can't be a vehicle. And you have to kill the first unit to die in a game. So if I kill one of his units first, I get the victory point, he can no longer get it. Hope that makes sense. We're also playing the Hammer and Anvil deployment, which is something new. The table is divided in half along the kind of like lengthways. So the middle of the table here, that is the middle line. We have to set up not 12 inches to either side of that. So I'll be setting up over here. There's a few buildings, there's some craters, and Paul's over here. And that's some of his stuff there. We are using some new rules for all the terrain, because in the new rules there is rules for lots of different stuff. One of them is this little section here, which is an ammo dump, which lets you re-roll mists of 1s with shooting attacks, but it's also a fuel store, meaning if I make my cover saves there's a chance I might explode. Could be good, could be bad. Hopefully it'll be interesting. Okay, so we're playing 1850 points today, and I have brought me boys. So, my army consists of 1 war boss in mega armour. He's got all the usual gubbins, power claw, boss pole, cyborg body, and he's leading a squad of 6 mega knobs. They've got a couple of different weapon options. We're going to see how the 2+ save holds out with the new rules. They are also a troop unit due to him being a war boss. We have 1 big squad of 30 lads. They've all got shooters. They've got a boss with all the usual stuff, and they have 3 big shooters in the unit. We have a big mech. He's got custom force field, should be useful. Oh, I haven't got them out yet. This will be a squad of tank hunters in a moment. The knob's there, he's armed with power claw, and there are 15 tank hunters total. We have 2 battle wagons, one with a death roller with the knobs in, and one the tank hunters are going to roll around in. It doesn't have a death roller, you'll notice. It looks a bit funny without. But in the new rules with the new snapfire mechanic, you can fire loads more guns from your vehicle, so this is loaded with 4 big shooters and a cannon. We also have 5 looters. The new artillery rules make the Gretchen squad toughness 7. Seems quite strong. So I've taken the big guns with their Gretchen followers. We also have a standard Gretchen squad, alas not toughness 7, but they're going to be arming one of the defence bastions batteries I've taken. We have 3 war buggies, each armed with twin-link rockets. And then, what's this, you think? There's a Chimera in that army. I've taken an ally. I have taken some Imperial Guard. Because I want to play with the new psychic shenanigans, I have taken a Primaris Psyker and a veteran squad armed with 3 plasma guns. And they're riding around in a Chimera. To round out the army, I have also taken the Aegis Defence Line, which you saw deployed on the table. It's up here at the back, it's deployed there, and I've taken an anti-air quad gun with it as well. Should be fun.
Hi, so I don't really know what I'm doing today, so I've allowed Mike to make my army up for me, so I'm playing his Blood Angels. My army is led by a librarian with a jump pack, and as you can see he's in here with this squad of assault marines. The squad of assault marines also has a sanguinary priest with them, and they're kitted out with a couple of melter guns and a power fist sergeant. Also in the army we have a Bale Predator, a squad of Devastators armed with missile launchers. We have a Furioso Dreadnought with the Talons, who's going to be deployed from this drop pod. We're really looking forward to trying out these new and improved Death Company. Now able to run where they like, fight who they like, and with extra attacks they seem a lot better than they were before. We've got a smaller squad of assault marines in a Razorback with las, cannon and twin-link plasma guns, and they've got a melter gun in there as well. We've got a tactical squad in a Rhino. The tactical squad has a sergeant with a power fist, a missile launcher, and a combi flamer and a regular flamer as well, so that should be quite helpful against orcs. Because we wanted to try out the new flying rules, we've brought this flying Storm Raven, which is kitted out with multi-melter, las cannons, extra armour and a searchlight. And as you saw when we were looking at the board earlier, I've got a Bastion with a comms relay. So this provides me with a nice AV-14 place to hang out and chill, conveniently close to my objective for the end of the game. Sports 4 heavy bolters, one on each side, plenty of firing points and a comms relay to give me +1 to my reserve rolls.
Okay, this is the setup. I have deployed a big long squad of orcs. They go all the way along through the edge defence line, round the back of my first battle wagon, just so they're in range of the custom force field. Then we also have our looters set up behind their nice barricade that they bought. And then behind the second barricade, sorry, we have our Aegis defence gun. And it has some Gretchen, which are part of the Gretchen squad, which snakes up this building and are scoring the objective and will be firing my gun. We have our battle wagon here with the Death Roller. It has the Mega Knobs in. Battle wagon here with the Tank Busters and the Big Mech. We have our Imperial Guard allies here, and over the side we have our buggies. Paul has set the Devastators up on top of the Bastion and half a tactical squad inside the Bastion.
That's right, yeah.
He has his Assault Marines with the Librarian and Apothecary behind the Bastion, along with the other Assault Marines inside their Razorback. And then we have the double flamer half of the tactical squad sitting over there in their Rhino. He's left his Storm Raven, because he has to, his Drop Pod, because he has to, and a Bale Predator in outflank. That's our setup. Okay, end of Orc, turn 1. So I basically moved forwards. These guys over here, they moved forward and shot at this Rhino. They managed to get a shaken and obviously lose at hull point, which is quite good. Because you get the extra victory point, the first unit that dies in the game gets awarded the victory point to the enemy. I thought, I'm going to concentrate on this Rhino. It's quite close to me, I can shoot it a lot, hopefully it'll die. So we then shot these guys, my big guns at it. They didn't do anything, unfortunately. The Tank Busters in here shot it 12 times with their rockets, hit a few times, or 6 times out of 12 actually, but didn't do very well on the next set of rolls, so unfortunately got no extra points off it there. They also released a bomb squig which ran underneath the battle wagon and blew itself up. Didn't hurt the battle wagon, luckily. Behind here, the Imperial Guard allies, they used their multi-laser and shot over there at some Space Marines. They'd also cast the Psychic Power, which is similar to Guide on the tank, so it got to re-roll, but still did no damage, unfortunately. This tank did the special tank move extra fast move in the shooting phase, so it's moved a bit further forwards. All the boys have run up here, so they've spread out a bit. The looters fired at the Space Marines over there, managed to kill one of their number. The quad gun also shot at this Rhino. Fortunately, it's still up, so I haven't got my victory point. Overall, basically just moved forward, shot a lot of stuff, didn't do a whole amount.
Space Marine turn 1. So we had the drop pod land a little further back than we'd intended, but now the Dreadnought can come storming out rather than chilling around the drop pod, so he managed to move up there, took a shot with his melter gun and took a hull point off this Chimera.
With its Stormbolter.
With the Stormbolt, yes, the melter gun shot wide, but the Stormbolter took the point off. Over here, this Razorback had a shot over at the battle wagon that's over here, managing to rip a gun off of it with its las cannon. Plasma gun didn't do anything. We had our the Assault Marines that were back here jumped out and took a shot at the battle wagon that was here with its melter guns, and they managed to destroy it, earning me the first blood secondary objective. They then, perhaps foolishly, charged these Mega Knobs. The Sergeant and the War Boss had a duel. The Sergeant managed to take 2 wounds off the War Boss before getting crumped. The rest of the squad didn't do so well. One of the Mega Knobs took a wound from the exploding battle wagon, and all the Blood Angel Assault Squad managed to do was take 1 more wound off before they were snipped to death. So perhaps we should have let them charge us rather than going straight in. At least we would have held them up for a round. The missile launchers took out the quad gun in preparation for the arrival of my Storm Raven, hopefully next turn. And one of the disappointing things was that the Librarian, who managed to leave the assault squad before they went on their doomed charge, hid in the bastion with the tactical marines. He was going to go for his psychic power, which is this one here, Psychic Shriek, which would have had a really nasty effect on those Meganobs because it ignores their armour. But unfortunately the Meganobs managed to make their 6+ Dispel check, so they're fine. And that's all that happened on the Space Marines turn 1. Pretty eventful.
Okay, it's Orc turn 2. So we were quite scared of this Dreadnought here because it can charge quite far in the new rules. So you'll notice in the movement phase I created a large no-go zone around the Dreadnought. The Gretchen in this squad, the ones on the ground, moved up because now in the rules you can choose to move any parts of your unit. So I moved the Gretchen up from the ground floor, meaning the guns on top could still fire as if they hadn't moved. Lovely new rule. These guys back here moved down this side and took pot shots at the Dreadnought. This is going to be a theme for this turn, but we didn't do anything. The Gretchen in this building, they ran up it a bit as somebody killed their quad gun. The looters, some of them moved again to get out of charge range of the Dreadnought, and then all of them fired. They shot over here at the Razorback that had those Marines in, managed to destroy it. The only penetrating hit I got, and it destroyed. Excellent. The boys' squad, still not a whole lot to fire at because I forgot that I could fire at units on the top of a bastion. They all ran forward, so they're in good position for next turn. The Meganobs, after their crushing victory over the Space Marines, decided to move forward and surround the bastion and also multi-assault into these. With the new multi-assault rules, it means you don't get the bonus attacks and you don't get the bonus strength from your Furious Charge when you multi-assault, so they weren't quite as powerful as I'd hoped. The War Boss managed to do nothing to the bastion even with his strength 10, and the 3 Meganobs who were engaged with the assault squad only killed one of them. Not the best of turns for me, but at least I'm still engaged so can't be shot at. There was a bit of a fail over here as well. The Psyker inside the Chimera cast the Guide-like power, the reroll to hit, on his plasma gun friends inside. They rolled forward and attempted to shoot this. One of them died to get hot, and none of them even hit, so pretty poor. The 12 rocket launchers inside this battle wagon, I'd only moved 6 inches, they only needed 5s to hit. Fired them all at this. Yeah, you guessed it, did nothing again. It was quite bad. This damn Rhino is indestructible, as is this Dreadnought.
Did you do this?
Oh, assault over there? Oh yes, I assaulted the bastion and my power claws couldn't really do much. So strangely, Meganobs come with frag grenades. I lobbed them inside the building and it killed 2 Marines. Pretty special.
Blood Angel turn 2. We used our comms relay to bring in our reserves and we managed to get in the Bale Predator, which came in from outflank over here, but the Storm Raven is still waiting in reserve. The Bale Predator came over and unleashed its shots into the side armour of the Chimera, and the tactical squad leapt out and flamed the Imperial Guard inside. Only the Primaris Psyker survived. Over here, the Dreadnought climbed the building and butchered all of the Gretchen that were manning the big guns up there. He's now hoping not to get shot in return. And over here, the Nobs, the normal rules for probability reasserted themselves, and the Nobs butchered the 4 assault marines. They managed to kill another tactical marine with a frag missile through the window, and then a partial collapse of the building. Oh no, actually it was a partial collapse of the building that killed a marine, yeah, as the War Boss smashed into it with his massive power claw. So all in all, we're slightly worried over this side of the table. No, I mentioned the Imperial Guard got flamed by the tactical marines. So this side of the board looks quite quietly promising, but this side of the board does not. Hopefully the Storm Raven isn't far away.
Okay, Orc turn 3. So, these guys here moved down, shot at the Bale Predator, unfortunately not doing a whole lot. The Looters, on the other hand, were very accurate, firing 15 shots. Quite a few got through and hit the Dreadnought in its rear armour. It got its cover safe for being in a ruin, but I still managed to shake it and knock off one of its claws. It can no longer kill an entire squad of Orc boys on its own. The battle wagon here moved over, all the guys inside shot out with their rockets, and finally we managed to wreck this immortal Rhino. The battle wagon itself fired all of its guns and killed one of the assault marines, or 2 of the tactical marines they are, killed 2 of those. The Primaris Psyker, seeing all of his men around him dead, decided he would unleash a smite on the puny Space Marines. If he managed to cast it, it's got a good chance of killing the Flamer and the Sergeant at least. Unfortunately, he perils of the warp and has now taken a wound. The boys' squad moved forward, got in range of the bastion, and now, after having read the rules I can shoot at things on the roof, they unloaded their 25 guns into the Devastator squad. The Devastator squad lost 2 of their number, or 3 of their number actually, and the rest failed the morale check. Now with the rules, if you're on top of a building like this, when you have to leave it, you don't climb down outside, you just leap off the edge. So the 2 remaining Devastator Marines leapt off the edge with a good chance of dying, but neither of them succumbed, managed to land and get sprinting. The Mega Armoured Knobs and the War Boss charged into the building again. He only had 3 dudes left inside, so I filled it with frag grenades, dealing 20 hits to the squad inside. But unfortunately only 2 wounds went through the armour, and the Librarian is left alive on his own inside. The War Boss again failed magnificently to hurt the Bastion, even though he's got strength 10. Let's see what happens. Let's hope the Storm Raven doesn't show up.
Blood Angel turn 3. We were very relieved to see the Storm Raven jet onto the table at the start of the turn. It's swiveled its las cannon and taken a hull point off of the remaining battle wagon. It fired its other missiles, missiles and a multi-melter down at these looters and managed to take off 2 of them, but they passed their morale check. Over here, the Devastators rallied and fired a point-blank range crack missiles into the knobs, but to no avail. The Librarian has taken to the battlements, fed up of getting frag grenade to crap. He went for his Psychic Shriek, which he's been trying to do all game, and so far managed to kill, I think, 1 boy with it. We passed a Psychic test. We rolled. I managed to do 7 armor save ignoring shots, which was about to kill 4 knobs. Then we remembered I needed to roll to hit, because it's a Psychic shooting attack, it's a Witchfire attack. And of course the Librarian missed, so no damage to the knobs at all. This Bale Predator moved back and came around the corner, taking some shots at these boys, killing 4 of them. The Tactical Squad is falling back with the Bale Predator. They managed to finish off the Primaris Psyker, but only just. He managed to take 1 wound, so if the Perils of the Warp hadn't got him earlier, then he would have been fine. Thanks to the Chaos Gods for that one. And I think that's all that happened this turn.
Okay, so it's Orc turn 4. Over here, these 3 buggies are backed off to more or less exactly 24 inches. Love the new measuring rules. And fired at this Bale Predator here. They managed to do a hull point damage to it. Over here, the wagon with the big squad of rocket boys, tank busters even, charged forward to make sure that the Storm Raven was the closest vehicle. They unloaded out the top and managed to hit it 3 times, even though they were snap firing, and firing obviously at a flyer. But unfortunately I failed to do any damage to it, which was a bit of a pity. The boys' squad kind of like lapped around sideways so they could shoot at the 2 tactical marines, or the Devastators? Devastators. Managed to shoot 1 to death and then attempted to charge. Needed an 11, got a 10, so nearly did it. The looters over here fired at the Dreadnought. Managed to get a couple of penetrating hits, but unfortunately it made both its cover saves. The Mega Knobs, they're not dead, it's okay. The Mega Knobs got inside the building and then charged up onto the roof into combat with the Librarian, who was cowering up there. A few snips of some power claws later, and the old Librarian was dead. He managed to force weapon to death one of the Mega Knobs in return. But now the Knobs can consolidate back down inside the main bastion. They have control of the heavy bolters.
Blood Angel turn 4. The Storm Raven dropped off the Blood Angels Death Company, who prepared to attack the massive boys mob that used to take up this entire space. They shot their shots. This Bale Predator shot its shots, and the Tactical Squad, which has moved into this wreck ruined building, fired some storm bolters, doing quite a lot of casualties. And then the Death Company charged in. Now their rage has gone from being a liability to being an extra attack when they're charging, and we managed to wipe out the entire boys squad without the Power Fist getting to strike. The Power Fist is not very impressed. The Storm Raven had turned into a skimmer. It just moved flat out over here, and that was pretty much everything. The Dreadnought has managed to climb down from where he was fighting those grots, and he's now lumbering his way across the battlefield. And that's it.
Okay, so it's Orky turn 5. Pretty good turn for me. The 3 buggies backed off over here and shot the Dreadnought in the back as he was running to try and contest my objective, or not contest, basically kill all the Gretchen I had on it. They got a glancing hit, which was enough because he'd already taken 2, so he gets wrecked. Excellent. The looters over here shot at the Death Company, did a few wounds, they made all their saves. The battle wagon here moved forward, shot all its guns at the tactical squad that was hiding in the building, did no wounds, but then all of its boys got out, its tank buster boys. They shot a load at the Storm Raven, didn't really hurt it, but then they multi-assaulted again. Even though it's really bad in the new rules, you still want to do it, so I think they've done a good job there. We assaulted into it, 2 tank hammers, thump, thump, thump. Down it goes, wrecked Storm Raven. The tactical marines did no wounds back to me, but the sergeant is still alive and has managed to run away from the combat, escaping the Orc boys. So the only stuff left on the table, we have the Death Company over here. Oh, over here my Mega Knobs, they came out of the bastion they were in and assaulted the single devastator that was on this objective. So now my Knobs, which are a scoring unit due to the war boss, are holding that objective. I'm also holding the objective over there, which is quite useful. I have killed his war boss, or his warlord, so I get a victory point for that. He killed the first unit in the game, so he gets a victory point for that. And at the minute I have a scoring unit inside his deployment zone, so I'm 3-1 up at the moment. Or sorry, 4-1 up at the moment.
9-1 after you score the objective.
Yes, so let's see how his last turn goes. Not sure he can do anything, but he might be able to. And it may not be his last turn.
Blood Angel turn 5. The sergeant over here rallied and then, using his amazing ability to pre-measure, positioned himself with a run move exactly 3 inches away from the objective. The Death Company tried a last-ditch effort to get glory, running us out of the crater, trying to get round to attack the Mega Knobs who were holding our objective. I needed a 9 on the assault in order to get them into assault. Oh, no, it was a 10, wasn't it?
It was a 10,
I needed a 10 to get them into assault. Charging through cover meant I was 3 dice lose the highest, and I rolled a 5, a 5 and a 1. So if only I was able to take both those 5s, it would have been an assault. But as it is, they're cooling their heels over here. They're probably stuffing crack grenades in there in case there's any orcs still hiding in there. That was it really. The drop pod over there had a couple of pot shots at that. Oh, the Bell Predator came round. Bell Predators have been great this game. Came round and loaded a volley of fire into the knobs, causing another wound over here. But then that was it. The game has ended, and we're contesting this objective here, and the Gretchen are in firm control of this objective over here as the Storm Raven's last ditch run for glory didn't work. So that is 3 objective points to the Orcs for contesting objectives. They also scored 2 secondary objectives, killing my leader and also getting a scoring unit into the end zone. So they scored 5 points overall. The Blood Angels only managed 1 point for killing the first death of the game, where they destroyed the battle wagon. So final score, 5 to the Orcs, 1 to the Blood Angels.
Here we go. Okay, so it's the end of our first game in 6th edition, so we're just going to do a bit of a recap. So what were your thoughts overall, Paul?
Well, 6th edition, I think it looks absolutely fantastic. I really like how the game played out. I liked the allies seemed good, the psychic powers were very interesting. I really liked some of the small changes to the rules, like getting out of the vehicles and all that kind of stuff. I haven't really got my head around it all yet, but I'm very excited to now go away and start making up army lists. No,
that's it. You were a slight disadvantage because obviously I was basically explaining rules as they came up, so you couldn't really plan for some of them.
But it was a really interesting game as well.
I think there's a whole lot more mobility in the game. Vehicles can move faster, units can move further when they're either running or charging.
Basically my Storm Raven could go wherever it wanted every round.
Yeah, Storm Raven was really good. I mean, it was quite unlucky it didn't come in. I think the game would have been quite different if the Death Company were here a turn earlier, because they are brutal in assault.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic.
Losing that rubbish rage rule for a bonus now, they're just so good. 20 points a model, utter bargain. I think for me, I really like the mission. I mean, in the old game, this mission, if we'd have rolled it, would have been an objective in your corner, an objective in my corner, and that game usually ends in a draw. But with the 3 secondary missions,
it makes it a bit more lively.
It's so unlikely that you'll actually get a draw out of it. It means you've got to play a bit more for the win.
My plan was to try and contest both objectives, and then score all 3 secondary objectives.
That's it.
You couldn't score one of them because only one person can score.
Yeah, that's it. I think that's a really good little touch, and it's not overly noticeable when you just glance and read through it. But the fact that one of those secondaries can only be scored by 1 player. I mean, you'd got my war boss down to 1 wound, so 1 more and he'd have been scored.
Yeah, so if the Death Company had managed to do that charge and had taken out the squad, then actually I think I would have won because I'd have scored.
Yeah, you'd have controlled that one and you'd have scored two. Yeah,
and you'd have controlled one and only had
and
one.
I would have no longer had the squad in the end. Yeah. So yeah, very close game. It was a disparity in scores at the end, but it was really close. But I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was
just
brilliant.
Really exciting as well.
Yeah, I mean the fact that vehicles can now move and fire all their guns, even if they move a bit quicker, and the stuff inside, just more stuff seems to be able to do more things.
I think the thing I need to adjust to the most is that it's now really easy to hit a vehicle in close combat.
Yeah, I think you were caught out a bit with the Storm Raven, weren't you?
There's an Eldar player I'm used to just jetting around my Falcons and my Wave Serpents everywhere, and you only need 6s to hit them, so it feels fairly safe.
Yeah, but now you need 3s to hit, no matter what speed it moved at.
My Storm Raven plan was just not a good plan.
Yeah, I mean vehicles are probably more fragile, certainly more fragile in close combat, but I really like the whole points rule. That was quite useful, but they certainly didn't seem rubbish at all. Your Bale Predator was really good, and my battle wagon here was awesome. It was just rolling around shooting stuff.
Dreadnought was great.
Yeah, Dreadnought was really good. My buggies down here did a good job. They suppressed a few things, put a few wounds on. Yeah, they weren't a high enough target priority. What do you think of the fortifications you could buy?
Yeah, I think I think they're both good. I mean, I had to shoot the.
Yeah, you took out my quad gun, but it gave good cover to my looters all game, who were really good this game.
Yeah, and the Bastion was really kind of the centre of attention.
Yeah, the rules are really interesting for it because you can't assault stuff inside, but you can throw grenades in the windows. You can hit the building and it hurts people inside.
Throwing grenades is rather deadly when you've got a whole squad with frag grenades sticking D6 wounds each.
Yeah, not the realism is part of the game, but that seems quite realistic. Throwing a grenade into a room does quite a lot of damage.
The idea of your knobs coming up through that top hatch and butchering my librarian.
Yeah, who was hiding and the jumping off the side I really like. That's just really, as they say in all the little videos, it's very cinematic. But yeah, I can see what they mean. I think they've done a really good job. I'm thoroughly looking forward to playing more games in this edition. Thanks for the game, mate.
Okay, see you next time.
Will do.